secret societies, and I've done a Bible code on Bohemian Grove. And George Bush Sr. is really one of the headmasters of this grove. He helps run this grove. But what they do is it's all occultic, and they do a lot of bizarre rituals there. Satanic ceremonies occur there. They have the opening ceremony, which is called cremation of care, and it includes a high priest and pallbearers in bright red hoods and flowing black robes. They carry a coffin with a skeleton, which is burned, representing the killing of the cares of this world. And all of this occurs at the feet of a giant-sized owl. This bizarre ritual can be seen at Alex Jones's website. You can go to prisonplanet.com or infowars.com. And he's a reporter that snuck into this grove years ago and took video of it. Throughout the years, several slip-ups by some major people. Nixon once allegedly recorded as saying he had attended, and it was the most, I think this, and I'm not going to repeat what he said about it, but one of the most probably effeminate places you can imagine. Rumsfeld once spoke of it in a speech he gave at the Hudson Institute. And the media has helped keep it secret. The major media does not report about Bohemian Grove, even though every year hundreds and even thousands of protesters and spies enter the place, protest outside of it. It's a gathering of the world's lizards, if you ask me. I mean, the gathering of the world's elite, the gathering of the world's lizards. These alien hybrids. And they try to keep it secret. George W. Bush Jr., when asked about it, said that he had joined a secret society when he was at Yale in his senior year, but then he wouldn't talk anymore about it. We know John Kerry, Skull and Bonesmen. The Skull and Bonesmen are all involved with Bohemian Grove that I know of. More stuff that takes place there, policy being made there. Usually presidential candidates are being discussed there, who is going to be running in the next election. And this is like an American side of the Bilderberg Convention, where the Bilderbergers have a meeting every year in Europe and meet and decide what's going to happen over the next year, what policies are going to be implemented. This is the same kind of thing. So they meet in this Bohemian Grove, and they have these satanic rituals in front of this huge owl. The name for this owl is Malek. The word itself, Bohemian means someone who leads a loose and unsettled life. In the witchcraft books, an owl represents wisdom and death. In the scriptures, God called for all the groves to be cut down because of what took place in them. The most notorious events that took place in groves involved sodomy. And, of course, one of the most things talked about that go on at the Bohemian Grove in San Francisco, obviously, is all of the sodomy, the pedophilia, the homosexuality that takes place. Deuteronomy 12:3 states, "And ye shall overthrow their altars, and break their pillars, and burn their groves with fire, and ye shall hoe down the graven images of their gods, and destroy the names out of that place." So it's hard to imagine that leaders from around the world participate in such bizarre rituals, but they do, folks. They do. And Bohemian Grove is just one of their places. We know that they have a castle out in Colorado that they meet at once a year as well, where they sacrifice an infant. And, I've been saying over and over again on this show that these people leading our world governments and our government are satanic. They claim to be Christian, and they talk religion, and they talk God, but they are clearly satanic. They worship Satan. And I've brought up before about what their real bloodlines are, the fact that these Illuminati families that run the New World Order that the Bushes are trying to implement here, and they're knee-deep in it, they're not even 100% pure human. They're Canaanite seed. And the thing about a lot of the New World Order is they know who they are. They just twist everything. They will talk about being sons of Cain. They know who they are. But to them, the sons of Cain are the elite. To them, everybody else is not worthy of being anything but slaves. And so, they just twist everything. And so I talk about that a lot on my site, Serpent Seed Lines, the serpent and the Illuminati. have several articles there as well. I wanted to get into a little bit about what's been going on with the generals lately. We had 2 generals lately being fired. And I talked about this on my blogger a little bit. I want to backtrack a little bit because I remember I talked to Larry about 2 weeks ago and told him I had read online about Chicago police allegedly catching 4 British M16 agents on July 18th, attempting to blow up the Dirksen building where the grand jury is convened. And then shortly afterward, now you're hearing all this stuff about the federal prosecutor going to be fired by Bush, or that indictments were handed down against Bush and Cheney. I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight, get into that. We got into it about last week. And we know that one of the things that's come out is that these live drills have been their excuse to carry out attacks. And we always had known there was a connection, thanks to all the people who've put in a lot of hard work and investigation work into 911. One of the early things that had come out in the state ad is that on 911, the morning of 911, there was a drill about planes being crashed into the World Trade Towers. There was a drill that day that our government was participating in. And, of course, we know on that day planes crashed into the World Trade Towers. And so the door's kind of opening now to where you can see that when they say that there's going to be a drill taking place, they're using it as a backdoor entrance to really implement a live drill. And so apparently this one general was trying to stop it from happening. And so what they did, they slapped sex charges on him and fired him. And like I said in my blogger, they do bank robbery charges on patriots, and wouldn't be too hard for anybody to believe there's a sex scam in the military. But what they're doing here is going after generals, because this general was clearly trying to stop any kind of attack. The latest drill being that there would be a ship coming in to South Carolina, and a nuke bomb would be on it, and then it would be planted in the city somewhere and be blown up at blast Charleston. So apparently they found out that this drill was going to go live, and so this general tried to stop it from happening. These are real patriots standing up for America against Bush and their wannabe terrorism here. They planned no end for terrorism here. They were the ones behind 911. They were the ones behind Oklahoma City bombings. They set up patsies to take the fall. And then they'd scream terrorism and safety and security, and then pass draconian legislations to tighten the noose around the necks of Americans, take our freedoms away, take our liberties away, take our Constitution away. So it's never ending. And they change tactics, they change ways of doing it. And so that's just another report that had come out that I was looking at. Apparently Dick Cheney has given orders to immediately invade Iran after the next terror attack in the U.S., even if there's no evidence Iran is involved. And so the standing order is out there. No matter what happens here in the United States, Iran is to be attacked, whether they're involved or not. And, of course, you're not going to hear about this in the mainstream media, but they do have his orders. I mean, people from intelligence communities have been releasing this stuff on the Internet. They really want Iran. They want to get into Iran. And it isn't necessarily us, it's just the Zionists running our government, the neocons, and they're letting them have their way. And so a lot of people expecting a terror attack on our soil this month, probably any time in the dates 20th to 29th. I've seen about 5-6 dates people are plastering around. It will be on this date, it'll be on that date, it'll be on the 18th because they missed the 9th, and the cult freaks do everything by numbers. And so, 2 weeks left, 3 weeks left. I really don't know if they're gonna be successful at doing anything here. I've looked in the codes. Bush assassination code is still strong for this month and next month. I'm not going to get into the details of how they do it because, why should I help them out? If they're going to do it, let it